Hey, welcome to the show. Every Sunday afternoon, we answer your home improvement questions. My name is Jared Mellick. Sitting next to me is my father, Ken.
Hey, everyone.
Surprise, surprise.
This show is all about your questions, so we're looking forward to your calls.
Where are you? You're in the house. All right, so this show is in the house. It's all about home improvement and construction. If you have a project that you're working on and you want to know how to get to the next step, or if there's something in the house that you need to fix, you want to know how to get started with it, well, this is the place to be. Perhaps you have a structural question, electrical, plumbing, anything having to do with home improvement, you can give us a call. The numbers are 407-297-9696, toll-free 855-297-9696. Maybe you have a honey-do list that you've been given of projects that you need to do. Maybe you have a leaky faucet. Maybe in this rain that we had last week, you had a roof leak and you want to know how to find it. Perhaps you're thinking about doing an addition and you want to know which type of addition pays off. Maybe your family is expanding the way ours is and you need some more room in that house and you want to know how to start in that project. You can give us a call again, 407-297-9696, toll free 855-297-9696. Let's go on to Liz in Melbourne. Liz, you're in the house. Go ahead.
Hey, Liz, thanks for your call.
Hi. Thanks for letting me on. I appreciate that. I had a question in regards to an addition.
Sure.
Which was the better route, to add a room or to put up a room up over the garage? In regards to permit costs, which one is cheaper?
Permitting-wise, they're probably going to be exactly the same.
Exactly,
but the cost of the permit is not really the big deal when it comes to construction. It's that's hundreds of dollars. In regards to whether or not it's better to go up or go out, if you have the space. And it also, if you have the space, a lot of times it's less expensive to go out than it is to go up. But actually, as I say that, actually there's projects where it was less expensive that I can think of specifically where it was less expensive to go up. A lot of it depends on how the current place is constructed. So usually what I will do is when we go out to meet with somebody and to determine whether or not we go up or we go out, there's a number of different factors that go into that. First is whether or not you have enough space around, what the setbacks are there, how the layout of the area is going to be. If there's a space that you can go into to add a staircase without taking away a whole lot of the living space, then that's one thing. But if there's not a whole lot of area to go up or do a staircase without getting in and taking away living space, then a lot of times we'll recommend going out. And then also the current layout of the house. The best additions are ones that don't look like additions. And so it depends on, what type of space you want to add. And if we're adding a family room, does it make sense to put it right off the back in an area where the flow of the house is still going to be good? Or is it going to make sense to go up? So, and then usually what we'll do is we'll put a couple different options together pricing-wise so that way you can see what the cost difference is between them.
Okay. Now, does it matter if the neighbors do not have a second story? Can you be denied a permit?
Well, not a permit necessarily, but do you have a homeowners association?
No.
Okay.
You can be denied a permit if the area that you live there's a height restriction. Especially if there's view property or something like that on the coast or something like that. Being in Melbourne, you could be on the coast where you can't block someone else's view of the beach and build a 2 or 3 story that would block them. There's covenants for that, but you have to get a hold of the building department and planning section especially. They'll tell you whether you can go out or up, and then it's a matter of looking at your structure, and if you're going up, you have to have the support of the foundation has to be thick enough. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't change it and add it, but if you're not already built for it, could be a little more expensive to go up. but it might be the right way to go to get the flow that Jared's talking about. And there's, it's nice to have a second story, an area over the garage or an area in the center of the house, and add some different pitch to the roofs to make things look a lot better. We'd be more than happy to take a look at what you got, and if we can help you, we'll be glad to do it and give you the right advice.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks. Appreciate your call. 407-297-9696. Toll free 855-297-9696. And if you want more information about our business, you can go to our website, which is universalroof.com. All right, let's go to Nikki in Orlando. Nikki, thanks for holding on. We appreciate it.
Hi.
Hi
there.
Thanks for the call.
I've got a problem with my shower leaking, and it's about 18 years old. A friend of mine and I, we took off the drain, the drain, and we noticed there's some hard-looking cement around the pipe, and we think it's grout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that's a problem. It could be the pan underneath, what I'm reading online. I'm not in construction, but this is what we're guessing. And there's some advice about using muriatic acid, but we called some friends that are in construction and said, no, don't do that. Try to chip it away and vacuum it out. Do you have any suggestions, or if I can't fix it, about an estimate of how much that would cost to fix?
Sure. I mean, most of the time what we find is that when the showers begin leaking, probably 8 out of 10 times it's actually the shower pan that is leaking.
Especially at 18 years old.
Yeah. So the solution then is to replace the shower pan. The thing is that a lot of times what people will do is they'll go through the expense of regrouting, or they'll go to the expense of replacing the tile along the base. Well, if you do that but then don't replace the shower pan, you're spending a whole lot of money, time, and resources, and possibly still not fixing the problem.
Putting a Band-Aid on it at the
Yeah, so when it's 18 years old and it's leaking around that area, I typically recommend that you just go ahead and replace the shower pan at the same time. So that's probably what you're going to have to do. It is tile that's on there now, correct?
Yeah, that's a good time to remodel that too. Hopefully, it fits into your budget. Is that possible?
What type of tile is it? Is it a basic tile, or is it?
It's just a basic, like that netting tile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The biggest problem in replacing the shower pan is trying to find a matching tile, because a lot of times what people will try to do is they just replace the tile on the floor and then the first couple rows up, so that way they can replace the shower pan. And there's times where we do that. Like I just did one last year, this year. I did a few of them, but the people had the tile, or the tile was one that we could get. It's much harder if it's a tile that you can't get anymore, because tile manufacturers every couple years they're gonna get rid of one style of tile and they're gonna go to something else. So it's very difficult to find the tile afterwards. So if you can find the tile, then you can just replace the lower couple panels. If not, then a lot of times it's the time where you go ahead and replace all the tile in the shower.
So that would be the tile and the shower pan. When you lift up the tile, you would. But I heard the shower pan is. I would need to call a professional in, I'm guessing, for that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We'd be glad to help you.
I do have your number. I heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
I am waiting for income tax. So money is kind of an issue right now, and I need a new roof.
We got
we're doing a special for the beginning of the year. Do it in January, and don't pay for it until January 2014. 12 months, same as cash, no payments, no interest. So we have that on a number of different projects that we're doing. So. If you'd like, you can call the office, but any good contractor would be able to do it. But the important thing is that you don't just put a Band-Aid on it and you do it right, because what's going to end up happening is you'll end up doing it right in the long run anyways, except you'll spend a lot of money doing it wrong beforehand. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Good
Nikki.
luck, Nikki. Thanks for your call.
All right, let's go to John in Merritt Island. John, you're in the house. Go ahead.
Hey, John.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
My house is it's about 35 years old. I had the roof done about 5 years ago. And since we've been in Brevard County, we've had issues with the homeowners insurance, and we were on Citizens Insurance, and they recently said that they needed to do another wind mitigation inspection because it was likely that a lot of the credits were erroneously applied. And we had that done in August, and they since have told me that now my roof no longer qualifies as a hip roof because it has a flat roof that's attached to more than, it's 10% of the roof.
Yeah.
And also the clips that I used to get a credit for on that is not applicable anymore as well because there's, not enough of nails in the clips. There's only 2 nails, and they require 3 nails.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was just trying to find out, since they basically raised the rate over $1,000, would it be worth it to try to have somebody do the clips over again? Obviously, I can't change the roof construction, and the only thing that I really can see getting is maybe that clip credit back. But I can't find information on what kind of a discount that might actually apply versus the cost being, I was told, around $2,000.
Sure.
Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with this whole process. I do wind mitigation inspections all the time, and so I'm very familiar with it. And yeah, the reports a number of years ago, they just weren't as specific as they are today. And for those of you who don't know, let me explain what a wind mitigation inspection is and this whole process. And in one of the many times that the insurance companies went to the state and request for rate increases, the state and the insurance companies came up with this wind mitigation retrofit, wind mitigation inspection process. And the idea is that houses that are built better are less likely to receive hurricane damage or storm damage. So therefore, those houses should receive a discount and pay less than the house that isn't built as well. And so there's this inspection that you can do to get a reduction on your homeowner's insurance. It's called a wind mitigation inspection. And there's you have to have certain license or certain testing in order for to have this inspection done. A number of years ago, the reports were not as specific as they are today, and so they changed the reports every couple years. And the current version of the report does specifically talk about how many nails are on the wraps and whether or not the wrap comes over the top, and you get a higher discount depending on the number of nails. And there's certain minimum requirements in order for it to be labeled as clips versus straps. And and then the report is supposed to be good for 5 years, except that a lot of the insurance companies are not honoring the old version of the report. So that's probably why you had to get a new one. The problem is that modifying any of those things, like, for example, adding the other nail to the clip is so incredibly difficult to do. I mean, if you hired somebody to do it, it would be thousands of dollars to get all the way along the edges and to install that additional clip. It would be crazy difficult. And so I just don't know that it's worth the discount that you would get. Now, if you go to your homeowner's policy, not a lot of times they'll only send the changes out every year. They'll just send like a new decks page or new declarations page. If you go to your actual policy, a lot of them have what the discounts would be with those additional items. Usually it's about 3/4 of the way through your homeowner's policy. And there's a page that talks about the wind mitigation, and then it has the percentage of your policy that is attributed to the wind portion of the coverage, and then it usually will have in there what the different discounts would actually give you on your specific homeowner's insurance. Not every policy does it, but I'd say probably 95% of them I've been able to find that. So if you get your actual policy and go through, you should be able to see what that changes on your discount. Now, you had talked about the fact that your roof now no longer applies to the HIP discount. That is true. It could be true, but make sure that because you can't have any other shapes, like you can't have a gable or anything like that. But a lot of times the flat roofs don't take away from the hip. In other words, if you have a flat roof on the back of your home and the rest of your house is hip, the way I read that actually doesn't take away from the hip section of the policy. So you may want to have a different wind mitigation inspector look at that just to make sure that that they're not categorizing it wrong.
Yeah, that's the way I thought, but it says something about over 10% of the area of the roof. And since the flat roof is actually structurally joined to the house, it does count. If it were only attached to, say, the fascia, then it would not count. But it actually does attach to the structure of the roof. So that's why they've said now that it does not actually even apply. So they've essentially dropped it down to a gable roof, even though there's nothing gable about it. It's clearly a hip roof. But I'm assuming that that's where I lost most of the credits, was for the hip roof itself.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have the secondary water barrier? How old is the roof?
Yeah, actually I did. When I got the roof done about 5 years ago,
Sure.
I got some kind of a high wind shingle, and part of the warranty by the manufacturer was to have that secondary water barrier. So I did get that credit, and whatever the credit I received for having the roof done, those are the credits that I get right now, and that's pretty much it. But the credit that I had for HIP and also for the clips or whatever they call them, I think they had it as a single wrap, and I don't think that was even right. It maybe should have only been a clip from what I've seen. But
the clip discount is usually pretty good. I mean, where it gets down is when you get to toenails. The single wrap and the clip.
That's what they've got me now. Is they've got me as toenail and gable roof. So it's essentially the lowest level.
Well, if you take a picture of it, I don't mind actually take a picture of scan your wind mitigation inspection and then send me pictures of all of it, and I wouldn't mind taking a look at it and letting you know if I see something that's incorrect on the inspection. Let me give you my email address. It's Jared, Jared, at universalroof.com. So Jared, Jared, at universalroof.com. And and I don't mind taking a look at it and letting you know if they made a discount on it, or if they made it.
Thank you very much.
No bad, buddy.
No problem.
Happy New Year to you, man.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. All right. If you have a home improvement question, it's 407-297-9696 or toll-free 855-297-9696. And if you haven't had a wind mitigation inspection of your house done, you need to have it done. Every single inspection that I've ever done, and I've done hundreds of them. I've done hundreds of them, getting closer to 1,000 of these wind mitigation inspections that I've done, and I've never had somebody not save more than what the cost of the inspection is.
By far.
And the report's good for 5 years. So if you've never had a wind mitigation inspection done, call our office, 407-295-7403. Again, 407-295-7403. Or you can go to our website, universalroof.com, and get more information on that. So let's talk to Hector in Palm Coast. Hector, you're in the house. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for your call.
Thank you for accepting my call. Me and my wife was talking about building a theater room in the garage.
Okay.
Just looking stuff online, and I was reading stuff that people were putting down how they spent $50,000, and I don't want to have something like that. I just want to put up some walls or whatever, and paint it nice, and put up a projector screen.
Sure.
What would something like that cost to do?
Well, I mean, it depends on. I mean, as you just said, there's ones that are $50,000. I tell you, Ken has a theater room in his house, and then what I just did in my place, I just bought a new place this last year and remodeled it, and I did what I'm a dual purpose room basically. What I did in my house is I took my family room and I just I'm in the process of making it a home theater / family room. So I'm using my regular couch and all of that, but I'm going to have a screen that actually, comes down out of the ceiling, and I've got a good audio system in there. And I'm in the process of doing that right now. I'm just, I didn't want to do it all at once just because of financial reasons. So every month or so, I'm adding a different component to it. And so, but you can go as crazy as you want, or as inexpensive as you want. There's a good friend of the show, Rob Wheels, who owns HTG, Home Technology Geeks, or Home Theater Geeks. And
they're great.
Yeah, they're great. They're great guys over there. And what I ended up doing is I said, listen, I want everything pre-wired. And then as I have some extra cash around, I want to buy the next component to be able to put into my theater. And so that's exactly what he did to my place. I spent, a little bit of money up front, actually pre-wiring everything. And this last week I had my front speakers and a subwoofer installed. And then after the first of the year, I'm going to have my projector installed. And then a couple months later, I'll do something else. So
right. Well, I'm not speaking about the component-wise, because I was looking in Craigslist for a lot of the things.
Sure.
I'm talking about in the garage. Right now, I got cement walls.
Sure.
Should I put a wall, like where my garage door opens? Should I go out maybe 5 feet out and use that as storage space, and then put a wall up with a door so I can separate like that little storage in front of the garage door versus the theater room?
Yeah, here's what I'll warn you about closing. I mean, closing in a garage and making it living space. The thing about that type of remodel is that it's one of those that a lot of people. It's an inexpensive way to get additional space, but it's one of those things that you're going to limit who actually likes that type of remodel when you go to sell the house. So I want you to do things that are easily removed. In other words, you'll need to boost the floor up so that it's the same height of the other area. So I recommend that you do that like with a 2x6 that can be, and then plywood over the top of it, so that way it can be removed later if somebody wants to remove it.
And then you need to rip the bottom of it so you take the slope out of the floor, because the garage floor is going to have slope to it. From the house side out to the front of the garage door, there's going to be a 1.5 inches or 2 inches of slope. So you need to make that flat.
Right.
One other thing as Jared was talking about, it made me think about, when I built my house and I did a 2-story addition, changed it from 1,200 square feet to about 4,800 square feet. I built a whole theater room upstairs, soundproofed it, changed the height of the floor, did stadium seating, 15 seats, 9 or 10 foot screen, huge woofers and sound system, and spent a ton of money. And guess what? I think I probably could count on both of my hands in 12 or 15 years since the remodel that I've actually gone up and sat in the room and put on a movie or something. But if I ever did it again, I would do what Jared's doing, and that is to take a family room, something that you do there, and create that into a theater kind of a room with couches and that, just because I think you use it more. But you would want to soundproof it. You would want to flatten the floor, and getting storage out there too is a good idea. Resale value, Jared, you hit it on the head.
So I think putting a wall. You had asked about putting a wall up a couple feet before the garage door. For sure, I would do that. So that way you have, a few feet of storage there, because we never have enough storage here. So you still want to be able to access the storage. You also, I think that leaving the garage door in place and actually framing down from that, so that way the garage door is still functional, so that way it looks the same from the outside. Exactly. You want to do things where if the next person to purchase the house doesn't like this little addition that you did of closing in the garage, then you want it so that way they can remove it easily without, or you could remove it before selling it, because it is a turnoff for a lot of people to buy a house. Like, for example, there was a house that I looked at this last year when I was looking for a house, and it had one of those types of additions, and I completely pass by that house because I know that I want a garage, and most people do. So just that's the one thing I will warn you about with closing in the garage areas.
What about the cement wall? Should I just paint over it, or should I put also sheetrock in there too?
Yeah, I think that the sheetrock is a good idea if you want that space to look like a theater. I think actually framing in, putting 2x or 1x along those walls, and then putting some drywall up, so that way it's actually that will help with the soundproofing as well. So
put up some Icynene foam.
ISO board.
Yeah, ISO board. Insulation up, and then sheetrock onto that will work the best. Hector, good luck with that project. We appreciate your call, brother.
407-297-9696. Toll free 855-297-9696. Let's go to Brenda in Orlando. Brenda, you're in the house.
Hey, Brenda, thanks for your call.
Sure. Thank you.
You bet.
Yes, my question is I really need some work done on my roof. I lost a few shingles during Charlie. It's not, I could live with it, but now I'm having some leakage. My question is, I don't want to lose my insurance. I don't want to raise the rates on me. Am I better off not using the insurance, or should I use the insurance because I do pay the premiums?
Sure. Well, a couple things. One is if the damage that you received is from Charlie, then it's too late to file a claim anyways.
Okay.
I mean, there's a 5-year statute of limitations, and so so you wouldn't be able to. Your homeowner's insurance isn't responsible based on damage from Charlie, but we do get storms all the time. I mean, there's cases where there's
storms since then.
Now here's the deal with insurance, and you shouldn't. Most people don't want to file a claim, and so you don't use it on little stuff. I mean, the idea is it's for catastrophic things like storm damage to roofs. I mean, missing shingles is something that is typically covered by insurance companies. So in general, I'm going to say that that is the time to actually use it, and understand that homeowners insurance is different than automobile insurance in regards to raising your rates.
Okay.
Like with an automobile policy, and I'm not an attorney, I'm just a roofer, so get advice from somebody else. But in general, how it works is that if you have a automobile accident, then your rates are going to go up as a direct result of that accident. Homeowners insurance isn't done that way. That's not. They're going to go to the state and raise everybody's rates based on everybody's claims, but not necessarily based on yours individually. So your rates don't go up because of your claims.
What about them dropping you?
If you have excessive claims, I mean, they can drop you no matter what, whether you have a claim or not.
Okay.
I mean, people get dropped by their insurance company every single day. So, but the idea is you have insurance for a reason. I'm not saying to file a claim. I'm saying you save the claims for something big. Kid throws a baseball through your window, you just fix it.